Karl Marx's Grundrisse, also known as the Foundations of the Critique of Political Economy, is a collection of notebooks written by Marx in 1857–1858. It is a significant work in the development of Marxist economic theory, providing insights into Marx's thoughts and ideas as he was preparing to write Capital. The Grundrisse is not a finished or polished work but rather a series of rough notes that Marx intended to use as a basis for his later economic writings. In these notebooks, Marx explores various economic categories, such as capital, labor, money, and commodities, and delves into topics like alienation, historical materialism, and the critique of political economy. Some key themes and concepts found in the Grundrisse include historical materialism. Marx outlines his materialist conception of history, emphasizing the role of economic structures in shaping social relations and historical development. Capitalist production. The notebooks contain an in-depth analysis of capitalist production, including discussions on the nature of commodities, money, and capital accumulation. Alienation. Marx explores the alienation of labor under capitalism, arguing that workers are estranged from the products of their labor in the process of production. Critique of political economy. The Grundrisse serves as a critical examination of political economy, challenging classical economic theories and providing a foundation for Marx's later work in Capital. Dialectical method. The notebooks reveal Marx's use of a dialectical method, which involves understanding social phenomena as dynamic and interconnected processes. Although the Grundrisse was not published during Marx's lifetime, it has gained significance as scholars and researchers have studied these notes to gain insights into the development of Marx's economic thought. It provides a valuable resource for understanding the evolution of Marxist theory and the intellectual journey that led to the writing of Capital. The Grundrisse, written by Karl Marx between 1857 and 1858, is a collection of notebooks that serves as a preliminary draft for his later and more famous work, Capital. It is a foundational text in Marxist economic theory and provides insight into Marx's evolving ideas. The following is a brief synopsis of the key themes covered in the Grundrisse from beginning to end. Historical materialism. Introduction. Marx begins by exploring historical materialism, emphasizing the primacy of material conditions in shaping historical development. He introduces the concept of the mode of production as a key determinant in understanding societies. Commodities and money. Marx delves into the nature of commodities, money, and exchange value. He analyzes the relationship between use value and exchange value and examines the role of money in mediating commodity exchange. Capitalist production. Capital in general. The notebooks extensively explore capitalist production, including the concepts of capital, surplus value, and the capitalist mode of production. Marx analyzes the circuit of capital and the dynamics of accumulation. Alienation. The Grundrisse discusses the alienation of labor in capitalist societies. Marx explores how workers become estranged from the products of their labor, the labor process, and even from their own human essence. Pre-capitalist formations. Marx examines pre-capitalist economic formations, such as feudalism and slavery. He considers how these modes of production contribute to the historical development and eventual emergence of capitalism. Classes and class struggle. The notebooks touch on the concept of social classes and the inherent contradictions and conflicts between them. Marx discusses the role of class struggle in historical change and the transition from one mode of production to another. Dialectical method. Throughout the Grundrisse, Marx employs a dialectical method, emphasizing the dynamic and interconnected nature of social processes. This method allows him to analyze the contradictions and tensions within the capitalist system. Critique of political economy. The Grundrisse serves as a critical examination of classical political economy, challenging the prevailing economic theories of Marx's time. It lays the groundwork for a more comprehensive critique of capitalism in his later work, Capital. While the Grundrisse was not published during Marx's lifetime and lacks the systematic structure of Capital, it remains a crucial source for understanding the development of Marxist economic thought and provides valuable insights into Marx's analytical framework. The Grundrisse covers a wide range of topics and contains various arguments related to Marxist economic theory. Here are some key arguments along with illustrative examples from the Grundrisse. Historical materialism. Argument. Historical development is fundamentally shaped by changes in the mode of production. The economic structure of society determines its social and political relations. Example: Marx traces the transition from feudalism to capitalism, arguing that the emergence of capitalist relations of production led to profound changes in social organization and power dynamics. Commodity fetishism. Argument: the commodity form and the role of money in exchange create a mystifying effect, obscuring the social relations embedded within economic transactions. Example: Marx discusses commodity fetishism, where the social relationships between individuals appear as relationships between commodities. This is exemplified in the way people attribute value to commodities without fully understanding the underlying social processes. Capitalist exploitation and surplus value. Argument: capitalism is characterized by the exploitation of labor, as capitalists extract surplus value from the labor of workers. Example: Marx analyzes the capitalist production process, showing how the value created by workers in excess of what is necessary for their own subsistence becomes surplus value, contributing to the accumulation of capital. Alienation. Argument: capitalism leads to the alienation of labor, where workers feel disconnected from the products of their labor, the labor process, and their own human essence. Example: Marx explores how the worker becomes alienated as labor is commodified, leading to a sense of estrangement from the fruits of one's own work and a loss of control over the production process. Class struggle. Argument: the history of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggles. Social change occurs through the conflicts between different classes with conflicting interests. Example: Marx examines historical instances of class struggle, such as the transition from feudalism to capitalism, highlighting how these struggles shape the trajectory of societal development. Dialectical method. Argument: Marx employs a dialectical method, emphasizing the dynamic and contradictory nature of social processes. Contradictions within the capitalist system drive historical change. Example: Marx analyzes the contradictions inherent in the capitalist mode of production, such as the tension between use value and exchange value, as well as the conflicts between capital and labor. Critique of political economy. Argument: Marx critically examines classical political economy, exposing its ideological nature and providing an alternative analysis based on the social relations of production. Example: Marx critiques the labor theory of value, arguing that it fails to capture the social relations and historical specificity embedded in the capitalist mode of production. These arguments and examples represent only a fraction of the complex and multifaceted analysis found in the Grundrisse. Marx's exploration of these themes laid the groundwork for his later and more comprehensive work, Capital. Let's delve deeper into specific aspects of Marx's arguments in the Grundrisse, providing analysis and crucial comments. Historical materialism. Analysis. Marx's historical materialism argues that changes in the mode of production drive historical development. This perspective emphasizes the material conditions shaping societies, challenging idealist interpretations of history. Crucial comment. Critics argue that historical materialism oversimplifies complex historical processes, neglecting the role of ideas, culture, and other non-economic factors in shaping societies. Commodity fetishism. Analysis. Marx's critique of commodity fetishism reveals how the social relations in capitalism are obscured by the fetishistic nature of commodities. It highlights the ideological character of capitalist exchange. Crucial comment. Some critics argue that Marx underestimates the role of subjective perceptions and consumer choices in shaping the value attributed to commodities. Capitalist exploitation and surplus value. Analysis. Marx's analysis of surplus value underscores the exploitative nature of capitalism, where capitalists profit from the labor of workers. This critique forms the basis for understanding class struggle. Crucial comment. Critics challenge Marx's labor theory of value and argue that it doesn't adequately account for the role of subjective preferences and market dynamics in determining prices. Alienation. Analysis. Marx's concept of alienation highlights the dehumanizing effects of capitalist production, where workers lose control over their labor and feel estranged from the products they create. Crucial comment. Some argue that Marx's emphasis on alienation neglects instances where workers find fulfillment and meaning in their work, challenging the universality of alienation. Class struggle. Analysis. Marx's focus on class struggle as a driving force in history emphasizes the conflicts between social classes with opposing interests. This provides a lens for understanding revolutionary change. Crucial comment. Critics question whether class struggle is the sole motor of historical change, suggesting that other factors, such as technological advancements, also play significant roles. Dialectical method. Analysis. Marx's dialectical method examines contradictions within the capitalist system, recognizing the dynamic and evolving nature of social processes. Crucial comment. Some critics argue that Marx's dialectical approach is overly deterministic and neglects the agency of individuals in shaping historical outcomes. Critique of political economy. Analysis. Marx's critique challenges classical political economy, exposing its ideological underpinnings and providing an alternative analysis rooted in the social relations of production. Crucial comment. Critics contend that Marx's own analysis is ideological and that his predictions about the inevitable collapse of capitalism have not materialized as he envisioned. In examining these aspects of the Grundrisse, it's crucial to consider both the strengths and limitations of Marx's arguments. The diverse perspectives in the crucial comments highlight the ongoing debates and interpretations within the fields of economics and social theory. Karl Marx's Grundrisse has made substantial contributions to economic and social theory, leaving a lasting impact on various academic disciplines and influencing political movements. Here's an exploration of its contribution, impact, legacy, significance, and relevance. Contribution. Theoretical foundation. The Grundrisse laid the theoretical foundation for Marx's later and more comprehensive work, Capital. It introduced key concepts such as historical materialism, commodity fetishism, and alienation, providing a framework for understanding the dynamics of capitalism. Dialectical method. Marx's use of the dialectical method in the Grundrisse demonstrated a dynamic approach to analyzing social and economic phenomena, emphasizing contradictions and historical evolution. Impact. Development of Marxism. The Grundrisse played a crucial role in the development of Marxist thought, influencing subsequent Marxist theorists and activists. It provided a more nuanced understanding of economic relations and historical processes. Critical analysis of political economy. Marx's critique of classical political economy in the Grundrisse challenged prevailing economic theories of his time, paving the way for a new perspective on capitalist societies. Legacy. Foundation for Capital. The Grundrisse is often seen as a preparatory work for Capital. Its legacy lies in providing the groundwork for the detailed analysis of capitalism that Marx would later undertake in his magnum opus. Continued academic exploration. Scholars continue to study the Grundrisse to gain insights into the development of Marxist theory and to understand Marx's thoughts as he grappled with the complexities of capitalism. Significance. Understanding capitalism. The Grundrisse contributes significantly to our understanding of capitalism by exploring its historical development, internal contradictions, and the social relations that underpin it. Relevance to contemporary issues. Many concepts discussed in the Grundrisse, such as alienation and class struggle, remain relevant for analyzing contemporary social and economic issues. Relevance. Critical perspective on capitalism. The Grundrisse provides a critical perspective on capitalism, offering insights into its inherent contradictions and exploitative nature. This perspective continues to be relevant for scholars and activists studying and challenging capitalist systems. Influence on critical theory. The Grundrisse has left an indelible mark on critical theory, influencing thinkers beyond the Marxist tradition. Its exploration of alienation and critique of political economy have resonated with scholars in various disciplines. In summary, the Grundrisse is a foundational text that has made enduring contributions to economic theory, social theory, and critical analysis. Its impact is evident in its influence on subsequent Marxist thought, the development of critical theory, and ongoing discussions about capitalism and social change. The legacy and relevance of the Grundrisse persist as scholars continue to engage with its ideas in the context of contemporary challenges and debates. The Grundrisse brought several new and innovative elements to Marxist economic theory and social analysis. It was written by Karl Marx between 1857 and 1858, and its primary purpose was to serve as a rough draft or preliminary outline for his later work, Capital. Here are some key contributions and reasons behind its writing. Methodological innovations. Dialectical method. The Grundrisse showcases Marx's use of a dialectical method, emphasizing the dynamic and interconnected nature of social and economic processes. This method allowed him to analyze contradictions and changes over time. Historical materialism. While elements of historical materialism were present in Marx's earlier works, the Grundrisse significantly developed this concept, placing a greater emphasis on historical development and the role of changing modes of production. Conceptual explorations. Alienation. The Grundrisse provides a detailed exploration of the concept of alienation under capitalism. Marx analyzes how workers become estranged from the products of their labor, the labor process itself, and their own human essence. Commodity fetishism. Marx delves into the concept of commodity fetishism, exploring how social relations are mystified by the exchange of commodities and the role of money. This concept would later be central to his analysis of capitalism in Capital. Critical engagement with political economy. Critique of classical political economy. The Grundrisse represents Marx's critical engagement with classical political economy, particularly the works of economists like Adam Smith and David Ricardo. It lays the groundwork for a more systematic critique of capitalism in Capital. Expanding economic categories. Marx expands on economic categories like capital, labor, and money, providing a more nuanced understanding of their roles in the capitalist system. Historical context and purpose. Preparation for Capital. The Grundrisse was not intended for publication but served as a preparatory work for Marx's major economic treatise, Capital. It allowed him to explore and refine his ideas before presenting them in a more systematic manner. Responding to economic crisis. The 1850s were marked by economic turmoil, and Marx, in the Grundrisse, sought to understand the underlying mechanisms of capitalist crises and economic dynamics. The notebooks reflect his attempt to grapple with the economic conditions of his time. Legacy and influence. Theoretical foundation. The Grundrisse has become a key source for understanding the theoretical foundation of Marxist economic thought. While it was not widely known during Marx's lifetime, its significance has grown as scholars explore the development of Marx's ideas. Influence on later thinkers. The ideas and concepts introduced in the Grundrisse have influenced later Marxist thinkers and various intellectual traditions, contributing to the development of critical theory and social analysis. In summary, the Grundrisse brought new methodological and conceptual innovations to Marxist economic theory, providing a foundation for Marx's later comprehensive work in Capital. It was written as a preparatory step to systematically analyze and critique capitalism, offering insights into the economic and social conditions of the time. The Grundrisse continues to be a crucial text for those studying Marxian economics and critical social theory. The significance of Karl Marx and his ideas is a subject of ongoing debate, and perspectives on his relevance vary. Here are arguments on why Karl Marx matters and why some may argue that he does not matter as much. Why Karl Marx matters. Critique of capitalism. Relevance to economic analysis. Marx's critique of capitalism remains influential in understanding economic structures, class relations, and systemic issues related to exploitation and inequality. Social justice and inequality. Inspiration for social movements. Marx's ideas have inspired social justice movements and activism aimed at addressing economic disparities, labor rights, and social inequality. Historical materialism. Understanding historical change. Marx's historical materialism provides a framework for understanding historical development, emphasizing the role of economic structures in shaping societies. Influence on social sciences. Impact on sociology and political economy. Marx's ideas have significantly influenced sociology, political economy, and critical theory, contributing to the development of various intellectual traditions. Continued academic exploration. Scholarly relevance. The Grundrisse and Capital remain subjects of study and analysis in academic settings, and Marx's ideas continue to inform discussions in economics, sociology, and philosophy. Why Karl Marx might not matter. Economic predictions and historical context. Failed predictions. Some argue that Marx's predictions about the inevitable collapse of capitalism have not materialized as he envisioned, questioning the practical applicability of his theories. Historical specificity. Critics contend that Marx's ideas were developed in response to specific historical conditions in the 19th century and may not fully capture the complexities of contemporary global capitalism. Totalitarian interpretations. Association with totalitarianism. Marx's ideas have been associated with authoritarian regimes that claim to follow Marxist principles, leading to criticism of his ideas based on their misapplication in certain political contexts. Economic methodology. Critique of labor theory of value. Some economists argue that Marx's labor theory of value, a key aspect of his economic analysis, is flawed and fails to adequately explain the determination of prices in a market economy. Neglect of subjective factors. Critics contend that Marx's focus on objective economic factors neglects the role of subjective preferences, innovation, and individual agency in economic decision-making. Evolution of capitalism. Adaptation of capitalism. Some argue that capitalism has evolved and adapted in ways not foreseen by Marx, including the rise of welfare states and changes in the nature of production and consumption. Alternative economic theories. Pluralism in economic thought. Critics argue that there are alternative economic theories that provide more nuanced perspectives on capitalism without relying on Marx's framework. In conclusion, whether Karl Marx matters or not depends on one's perspective and the context in which his ideas are considered. While Marx's ideas have undeniably shaped intellectual traditions and inspired social movements, criticisms exist regarding their practical applicability, economic predictions, and the potential for misinterpretation. Marx's legacy continues to be a subject of examination and debate in various academic disciplines and remains relevant to discussions on economic and social justice.